Air Force between the year 1983 and 87, served 3 years overseas. Also was assistant specialist on the flight line of the F-111 fighter jet. Married 34 years to Lori. Wellsville High School District for over 29 years, maintenance supervisor. He has 3 children, Allison, John, and Marie. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Joe Traina.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to welcome all my fellow veterans here today and thank the students and the staff of Wellsville Schools for making this special event here. I appreciate it. First of all, I will tell you how overwhelming this is every year for me, Veterans Day. You walk through these halls and everybody wants to thank you for your service, and it's appreciated. But the truth is, I'm thankful to be a veteran. Being a veteran has shaped my entire life. It's all about the way I think, it's about the way I go about my everyday life. And it gave me most of the skills that I have to do my job every day. So I am truly thankful to be a veteran. That being said, I don't want to compare myself to a lot of people that are sitting in front of me right now. I enlisted in the United States Air Force. I made a choice. A lot of these men, they were drafted. I can't imagine what it'd be like to be a senior in high school and you're trying to make plans when you get out of school, and one day you get a letter in the mail. And all of a sudden, your plans are out the window, and you're doing what the United States government chose for you to do. That's a little different from what I did. I am also not a combat veteran. And those of you who served in combat, God bless you. You lived a different life than I did. And to compare me to you would be similar to trying to compare Woody Hayes to Urban Meyer. And we're just not going to go there. So I'll just say something that Earl Betts said to me a long, long time ago. There is no fair and equal treatment in the treatment of unequals. So God bless you that did all you did, and thank you. Before I joined the service, I would have believed that I was a patriotic person. I always stood for the pledge. I always stood for the national anthem. And I went through the motions. But after being in the service, I realized that I really wasn't patriotic before that. You see, patriotism is something that's in your mind, it's in your soul, and it's in your heart. And until you've sacrificed something, you really don't understand what that means. And I realized that it becomes a way of life for you. And it's just not something you're going to learn about by reading in a history book. And it's just a way of life. Now, to prove that point, I'm going to tell you that most of the time that the American public was truly patriotic came the time of great sacrifice to this country. One of those being December 7th, 1941, and the other being the attack of 9/11. We felt that as a nation. That hit all of us. It was on our soil. It wasn't a group of military men going off to a foreign country and experiencing war on their own. We think about those people. We think about them all the time. But until you actually feel that sacrifice, it doesn't really hit home for you. Some of you might wonder, for a guy like me that enlisted, basically had a job in the military, wasn't at a combat situation, how do I feel that sacrifice? And it came a little bit more than just being away from home, but you realize that when you're in the military, even when the United States is not in an active war, they are never truly at peace. We're always on to the next emergency throughout the world, And every time something happens in this world, a military person or group of military persons, trust me, is on alert and ready to go to that site. A couple of things that happened to me that I just can't forget. And I think about them every time the national anthem plays, when I say the Pledge of Allegiance. I was stationed at Lakenheath over in England. And we were the base that bombed Libya when Muammar Gaddafi was kind of getting out of hand. And I actually had a hand in building those bombs and munitions that were dropped that day. And as a result, I had the privilege or the opportunity to see the strike films from that day. We lost an F-111 fighter in that attack. We lost a pilot and a weapons officer. And if you would hear that conversation between those cockpits and those fighter pilots going on, and the pilot that went down screaming to his weapons officer, he needed more chaff. And for those of you who don't know what chaff is cartridges that they carry on board the jets, or at least they did when I was in the service. Technology has changed a lot, and that might not be something they do anymore. The chaff cartridge sets off, and shards of aluminum strips go out of that aircraft, and they're meant to throw the radar off on weapon systems that may be aimed at them. They know when someone's locked on them. And it's a traumatic thing to hear those pilots when they know they're about to go down, and they lost their lives that day. Another time, I was on the flight line at Shaw Air Force Base in South Carolina, and we were doing night flying. And I had delivered munitions to an aircraft, and right before the pilot boarded his aircraft, I saluted him, and we spoke for just a few seconds. And he boarded that aircraft, and I watched him take off, and he never got altitude at the end of the runway. And there was a hillside at the end of that runway. And I watched that man die that night. And I realized I was the last one that spoke to him in person. And each and every time I watched that flag go up, or I raised that flag for an occasion, right? I stand for the national anthem. Those and other memories of my service flash back in my mind. And sometimes it's a little bit tough to take. So those are the things that happened to me that I would just never forget. Now, just a little side note for those of you that are in high school right now, contemplating your future. I'd like you to take an opportunity to take the ASVAB test. That's the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. I'm not trying to talk you into joining the military. I would never do anything of the kind. But the Armed Service Vocational Aptitude Battery is a way that it has a way of pinpointing what you're going to be good at, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. If you take that test, you can head yourself in that direction of things you're going to actually be good at. And trust me, if you're good at something and it comes easy to you, you'll be much better at it. So take the opportunity. You don't have to go to the military, but maybe you'll be a little better off than I was. I left high school and thought I was going to go to Ohio State and become an attorney one day, when in reality I was much better suited to be an electrician. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America.